Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the bell.
Yo, be a father. If not, why bother, son? A boy can make them, but a man can raise one. Be a father to your child. Be a father to your child.
Microphone check.
And this again?
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Thumbs up means we're on.
Excuse me, I'm a little under the weather, so if I cough, maybe if I have a cough attack, I'll mute it or something.
Yeah, please. We don't want to hear that shit.
Fuck off.
And welcome to the Fatherhoods.
Yeah, just like that, we're back.
Episode 8.
All right, episode 8. Look at that. We getting in there, bro.
Being consistent.
We rocking.
We close to 800.
Being consistent out here. What's up, fellas? You good?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm actually, you know why I'm great? I'll tell you exactly why I'm great, since you're asking.
Yes.
So my youngest, a few episodes ago, you laid down the whole potty training scheme that you guys applied, right? So we've been borrowing from the KGB handbook, and we bought this little potty where she sits on.
Yep.
With the bowl that you take out and all that.
Yep.
And now today, so typically we have to spend, my wife's been in the bathroom with her for, no lie, a good hour sometimes. And she's just there listening to the iPad, bullshitting around. And most often nothing happens. She might trickle a little urine, whatever, but nothing serious goes down. A couple of times she's actually pooped in it. Today was my first time having her do it while I was watching her and, spending time trying to get her to do her thing. And there was some massive poop in that thing.
Nice.
It was major league poop. So yeah, I don't know how consistent it's gonna be. I'm hoping that what you said, it kind of took off from there. I'm hoping this was it, because this was like in 15 minutes it took.
Nice.
So very different than what we've experienced so far.
That'll work, man.
It's a lot of work, bro. But
actually, my wife told me the name of the book that she was referencing, and I forgot it. Now I gotta find it
God damn it.
and tell you.
It's useless for me right now.
Yeah, just wanted to make you a little angry. That's all.
Thank you. Doing great.
Liven up the podcast. So I found something interesting, actually. Going back to for the past couple episodes, I've been going in on my newfound kindergartner and his frustrations and throwing me off course.
Right.
So I was up one night and I started researching just to see what that was all about. It actually has a term. It's called after school aggression, or after school anger.
Do they have medication for that yet? Because you know how
man,
they flip it.
Someone,
So it's basically,
flip it
and it's gummy bears too.
Right. After school aggression.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I hear somebody mention ASA, that's probably what they're talking about.
So it makes a lot of sense. So it's basically like this. I mean, you figure, especially for kids who are going into a longer school day or just kind of a longer school environment, you figure like they're up earlier than, or at least out of the house earlier than they normally had been. They're in a school environment, and if you're in a school environment that, you have to sit a lot, like this school that he goes to, he doesn't get a ton of recess and, outdoor time. So he's, in a classroom and sitting and, the energy level is not, is not super high.
Rid of that energy.
So it sounded like you were describing jail for a second. Outside time.
And then
the yard.
And then he's got a longer day, right? So he comes back home from school, and then now you add in the homework. So what we've been doing is kind of just going straight into once he gets home, it's all right, wash up, change your clothes, boom, let's knock this homework out so you have the rest of the day and night to just kind of chill out. But then sometimes the homework takes longer, whether he's just being a perfectionist or just, it kind of snowballs into just taking longer than expected. and then because we had a trip this past weekend, so we had to like some projects that were due. So it was basically like he came home, and then we started doing homework, and then we started working on these projects, and then by that time, like, he was starting to lose it, and we're wondering, like, what's wrong, man? Like, how can how can you get upset? And then and so then it's basically like the kid needs, kids generally need some kind of decompression time. It's like the same way that we were talking last episode about work and like coming back from work, and you don't necessarily want to talk about your day. You just want to decompress and kind of change the atmosphere, right? So I guess it's the same with this. I mean, some kids definitely need, like, you come home from school and then have some time to basically separate the school day from the rest of the day, so that it's not just it doesn't feel like a continuous run on from school. Hence the frustration at, nearing the end of doing homework, and then, the kind of like the unusual attitude and all that kind of stuff. So it made a lot of sense. Not to mention, kids, if they don't get enough sleep, that always compounds things, because, so for instance, my son, even if he goes to bed late, he will still wake up his normal early time. Mm-hmm. He hasn't reached that level yet where it's like if he stays up late, he's going to sleep a little later. He's still on the little kid schedule of, fall asleep whenever, but I'm still waking up early and that kind of thing. So, and it's weird, like, if we don't hit that magic mark when he should be going to sleep, and he stays up even a little bit past when he's kind of like supposed to go to sleep, then he starts acting all crazy, and like, body's doing all kinds of weird shit. He's definitely overtired, and we're like, fuck, man, we missed the window of opportunity to.
So he'll go to sleep, but you're saying he'll, like, be moving around more than normal?
Yeah, if he's overtired, then basically what happens is he's, we know he'll fall asleep, but then he starts, he'll start thrashing around and, making weird noises and just being like, like, oh, what is
exorcism shit?
Yeah, basically,
Oh, right, because, wait, you guys share a bed with him?
Yeah, it goes back. It's back and forth. I mean, he co-slept with us for a long time, and then, it was one day is like, oh man, I gotta have my own room, and so we said, all right, cool. So we converted my office into his room. I gotta have a bunk bed, so we went out and outfitted, made sure the room was legit, and then he was totally into it for a while, and then I don't know, something happened. I think my mom came to visit, and she had to use his room, so he had to come back in with us. And then he just got, then it was like, maybe I'll just stay with you guys another night, and that kind of thing.
And that turned into 2 years.
Yeah, basically.
There goes the neighborhood.
So we've got this nice looking room that sometimes one of us will crawl off and go sleep in if if he's thrashing around too much.
What? So you guys started him off co-sleeping.
Yeah.
And then it's been back and forth for a little bit, but now it's more back to the co-sleeping.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it was more co-sleeping than not throughout the years. But with, variations of him. Like, we bought a toddler bed, but we had the toddler bed in our bedroom, so he would sleep, he would sleep in there for a while, and then he'd, like, bounce back and forth, and then he wanted his own room, and then, I mean, he'll eventually go back into, he'll eventually say, all right, I want to go sleep back in my room, and that whole thing, which is fine. And quite honestly, I mean, I do appreciate the time right now where he's close with us, because, there's going to be a point where, he's not going to want a ton to do with us, so might as well enjoy it now,
That's a good outlook. I'm not as good as you. Because you already see kind of the what's going to come eventually after a certain period of time. They don't want to do anything with you, and I'm still, I understand that will happen. But I see it as such a distant thing, and for me it's like, we got to get these kids in their own rooms,
right?
Because like we invested in buying a crib that would satisfy everybody's needs,
right?
And so I'm like, we better put this shit to full use. Everybody get the maximum benefit out of their rooms.
Yeah.
Because I kid with my kids, and I'm like, yo, soon as you're 17, you out this motherfucker.
Right.
So pack your shit, get to college, and try not to come back.
Well, you also have multiples, right? So it's kind of a
Yeah.
different dynamic. We have one, and it's also I was like that at first. I mean, at first I was all with he's an infant, he's co-sleeping. We had the little co-sleeping bed contraption you put in the bed, and then I started itching like, all right, yeah, let's transfer him now, because just thinking, man, he'll never want to sleep on his own, and that kind of thing.
Right.
And then after kind of just got used to being more, just being more in parent mode, and kind of seeing just how fast the time was flying. Then it's kind of changed my outlook as, all right, let me just really kind of enjoy the moment for what it is, because it definitely changes up quick and it goes fast. So I was not necessarily on that, same kind of path at the beginning. I was more like, all right, we got to get this done now, and that kind of thing.
That's mature of you. I've never looked at it like that, but it does make a lot of sense. What about you? Are you guys co-sleeping, or are you guys
I mean,
what's so different?
it was out of necessity. I mean, we were gonna always have the baby close in the beginning, especially because my girl is nursing. But it also because of necessity, because the room that would be the baby's room, the baby came unexpected for us. So it's not like we had a ton of time to prepare for it. So I had the room as my DJ room. I mean, it's still the DJ room, and it's just full with baby stuff in it right now. But so right now the baby's with us in our room. We have a bassinet that has like the fold down thing you could put close to the bed if we wanted to, and then we have like another little thing that she could sleep in. It's like a little rocker type of thing. But now I finally got the office space, and I'm moving into an office space 1st of November, and I'm gonna move everything out of that DJ room, and now we're gonna make that officially the baby's room. And my personal view is, let's get her used to sleeping in her room. Maybe I'll turn into what Kether, his outlook is, and I don't doubt it that I might. But my thing is, let's get her into her own room. Also because it's kind of annoying to me that, and I don't know if this goes for everybody, but my girl thinks that everything I do wakes up the baby. Everything I fucking do. I fucking cough. I fucking clear my throat. I fucking, walk. I fucking breathe. Like, God forbid I fucking fart, dude. Like, that's like fucking...
Tell us how you really feel about this one.
Nah, she knows. Like, I get mad, dude. But then, she does all kinds of noises, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, I get it. But I feel like we should be making as much noise as possible from as young as she is, so she's just used to noise.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, that's what we have white noise on all the time for her to sleep, or the TV puts her to sleep. Like, so I'm always like, yo, like, chill out. Like, we should be making noise. We should be getting ready. We should be taking showers, and she needs to get used to those sounds. But if she's sensitive, then that's even more of a reason to make sure that we get her room right, so she could be there. I mean, it's a small, like, our hallway is like, small to where her room is. It's not like it's a big, across the house or anything like that. So I'll feel comfortable, and I'll feel even better in terms of like getting shit done. Like, I can't do anything. Like, I can't get ready or do anything because if the baby's sleeping, that's it. It's become like a fucking Buddhist temple in that bitch,
They're actually, and I can't quote where they came from, but there's a lot of studies that talk about just what you just said. Like, you guys got to get the baby accustomed to your normal life. Obviously, if you're constantly screaming, that's a problem. But normal, like, fucking closing a door, or like moving shit around in a closet, opening drawers, like all that stuff is regular tone. Well, you're Cuban, so your regular tone is
up
elevated.
Come on, Dominicans ain't too far, bro.
Nah, you're right.
Yeah, we used
But
to
I'm
say
saying,
when we were before our son was born, we were always like, man, we're definitely not going to be those kind of parents that change. everything for the baby. Watch out for it. We're just gonna keep doing what we do, and all this kind of stuff. And then when we tried doing it, every time we did something, and the baby started waking up, and then we don't have any sleep, and we're like, oh shit. Then we found ourselves being those parents. Not to the extreme, but
like, of course, I understand. Like, there's critical moments when the baby's sleeping, and maybe my girl, because she's, she spends more time with the baby, she kind of sees the cycles of when the baby is like in a light sleep. So maybe she knows it a little bit more than me. But I just think that not that I think, I've been around the baby by myself where she's fallen asleep, and I've gone about my business because that's just the way I think it should be done, and she slept fine.
Yeah. So
I'm looking at my girl like, what are you talking about? But whatever. Nobody's wrong in the situation. But that's why I'm saying, like, going back to the room thing, I'm like, just to alleviate this, that's why we need to slowly start to, when I move all my stuff, which is just solely for this, let's get her in the room and let's get used to it. And of course, if we feel one day or one night or whatever, we want to bring her back over or whatever. But I just think that that'll help de-stress that part of the of our situation where it's like everything you got to be like. My girl goes crazy over our door because it squeaks, and she's always like, WD-40, we need WD-40.
Chill. They're not a sponsor, bro. They're not a sponsor.
Or you might end up having a great room to sleep in.
Just the baby's room.
Yeah.
No, I tell my girl all the time, like, I need to like buy another bed. First of all, get another crib, and then I'm gonna have another master bedroom. And that's just gonna be dope. I'm gonna have an ill king size bed, and I'm mad. I'm soundproof it so I can blast music.
In due time, my friend. In due time. After the third kid.
Right. Well, now I got my office. Let's just hopefully make use of it. Well, when I get over there.
Are you guys gonna do preschool? Are you thinking that you'll do that when it comes time? That's usually like around two or three.
Yeah.
Like
I think as soon as you can get the child into school, as long as it's a good school and you trust the people, all that's scary to me. But I do believe I went to preschool personally. So, and I went to kindergarten. My kindergarten was like, it wasn't a special school, but they definitely did things that I don't think normal kindergarten, at least my teacher, not all the teachers in that kindergarten. My specific teacher was really into, like, he taught us multiplication, division. We played Monopoly. We played chess. We learned to play chess. He had the toys he bought us were these dinosaurs, but then he would like talk about every dinosaur in scientific ways, like this is what this don't just play with it.
And you remember all that?
Yeah.
Wow.
And because of that, I learned, I played chess my whole life, Monopoly, like, like, I don't know. I just feel like I can't. Now, mind you, that's around that time of that kindergarten is when my parents started breaking up and I was moving around. My cousin stayed in that school, but I had to get out of there.
So that was L.A.
Yeah, it's in L.A. The school called Lollipop Lane. It looked like a gingerbread house.
Lollipop.
Oh, that's dope.
But it's in the hood, though. It's in Southgate.
Nice.
And my teacher's name was Mr. Bill. He was this big-ass dude. And if you got in trouble, you had to put your hands out, and he would, like, hit the top of your hand.
With a ruler or some shit?
Yeah, so, he was weird, man. Like, he had these things where on Fridays, he would bring his VHS, VHS?
Jack.
Yeah, and he would attach it to TV, and he would play us movies, right? Like, for kids that he picked out. But check this. The movies he was playing for us, he would turn off all the lights, and the movies were The Thing, Poltergeist. Like, I came out of that school with nightmares. Close Encounters. Close Encounters doesn't seem scary, but when you're a little kid,
yeah, for sure.
Like, I was like, The Thing, dude. The Thing pops out of the guy's stomach, and I'm like, yo, what was this guy thinking, man? Like, on one hand, he was really ill with what he was teaching us, and on the other hand, he was doing some other crazy stuff. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know what the hell that guy was up to, man.
Yeah, that's dope. It's funny because, I talk to my kids about kindergarten.
Yeah.
And I have vivid memories of kindergarten, too. So when Kay was like, yo, you remember that? Like, I find it weird that I do, given that's obviously so many years. But, yo, and I guess it's always, too, like, what's been most impactful. Because, like, your experience, that shit sounds ill. Oh, I can't remember those details.
No, how could I not forget a school called Lollipop Lane? The fence had these huge lollipops, and the place looked like a gingerbread house. And how can I forget Mr. Bill, who was
Right.
like 6 foot something, hitting us on our hands really hard, where we were like, oh, you know, like,
Yeah, imagine that flying these days.
yeah. And then the times that we would play Monopoly, he would, again, I don't know what his system was. He would pick whoever he thought was the good kids, and while all the other kids were sleeping, that's when we played Monopoly. And if you won the Monopoly game, he gave you a humongous Kit Kat bar, like the big ones, the ones you're supposed to share and shit.
Right.
That's dope.
I mean, is it now? Now thinking about it, I'm like, shouldn't I have been getting my sleep?
Yeah, right.
What I'm gambling for Kit Kat bar. And then on Fridays we're watching horror movies, man. Like,
Yo, he was teaching you how to hustle, bro, early.
yo, I know the other teachers didn't like him. They thought he was unorthodox in the way he taught.
And you
But
actually,
I do feel like I benefited from you know, some of the stuff, like learning some of the things I did.
I don't think they do naps in kindergarten anymore. At least I know in my son's school.
No?
They don't. No. Mm-mm.
Nah, not in mine either. I don't
Yeah.
even think.
Even
I
in
don't know if
preschool,
he-
even in some of the preschools, like I was checking out,
Yeah.
they cut that out.
Yeah, they don't do that shit.
Why? I mean, don't you think it's good?
I think it depends
Siesta?
on the. I think having some quiet time is good, but I also think it depends on the. At least for me, like we actually had to wean him from taking naps at a certain age. Probably like around 3, we had to stop him from taking naps because he would take a nap in the middle of the day, and it would be such a long nap, and then he wouldn't fall asleep until 10 o'clock at night, and you know by that time we're just like, please, man, go to
Yo,
sleep.
that's a scary thing because like we had to deal with that. I mean, my 5-year-old not so much anymore, but like the baby, it's like, yo, if it's past like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, yo, we going the distance. We're not putting
Yeah.
it down for no nap no more.
Yeah.
But then it's to your earlier point. Then it's like the moodiness, the wild now is just magnified. So it's like on the brink of choking her ass out. But then we're like, whoa, let's everybody settle down.
Yeah, when I mute it, you guys don't hear me, right? When I'm coughing.
No.
Nah, that's,
Like,
that's what mute does actually. Mute
You didn't
just
hear
stops
that,
you.
right? Because I don't want my girl coming here. You're waking up my daughter. I wish I could mute myself.
But the naps used to be the saving grace. That was the early,
that's when you-
those first couple of years, man. Those
Yeah,
naps
yeah.
were
Oh, my girl hates me because
awesome.
I'm a professional. Put her to sleep, and my girl's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What? Let her go to sleep now."
Yeah, cause she wants you to get stuck dealing with her like through her normal routine, right? I used to, that was the bomb, son. My wife would be like dealing with her all the time, and then she'd leave it with me and be like, sleep. And then
Right.
I'd be doing my own, watching TV. She'd get
Yeah.
home, she'd be pissed. Sorry, honey.
Hey, man, we gotta do what we gotta do, man.
What'd you guys think of? Have you? We have it posted, but there was that news cycle earlier on in I guess the end of last week with that dude who was doing squats in the bathroom, changing his kid because they didn't
Squat for change.
yeah, squat for change.
Yeah.
So he's basically this dude started I guess documenting what he was doing because you know he's a father, and then he would go to change his babies, but they didn't have any changing tables in the bathrooms for men. So he started, you know, just doing like an exercise, like, you know, a wall squat, and then like a sit against the wall and squat, and then use his legs as the
Whoa.
table, and then do the whole change
Yo,
on
he's
his
out
legs.
of control with that one.
And then he, you know, it went national, and a lot of news outlets started picking it up.
But
and,
you know, it's true. It's funny that you mentioned that because I'm starting to deal with that a lot now. That we go out, you know, we go to restaurants more often now, or we're trying to do more things with the baby, and you know, and I don't know. I think I've mentioned it. One of the things that I do, sounds weird, enjoy is changing. Like, you know, that's something I'm very proactive about. Like changing her diaper and whatnot. I don't know. I feel like that's the one thing that it's an accomplishment. Like, I did it. She's
Right.
clean. I did something for you.
yeah.
So I have no problem doing that, even if we're out in public. But I've noticed that it's just really super annoying when you go into a bathroom. If it's not clean,
Oh man.
you know, and then you're trying to change a diaper, and then B, if they don't have the changing table, it's just crazy. And even when they do have it, it just looks so rinky dinky. Like I put it, like I go up against it, so it's like falling on my
Support it.
stomach.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. His name is Dante Palmer. Actually, is the name of the dude.
It's your cousin?
No, it's just I'm an extraordinary Googler, my friend.
Oh, I didn't even notice you Google.
We used
baby.
We used to actually scope out in the neighborhood like which place. Like we'd go in and find the spots that had the best bathrooms so that when we were out, we knew like
That's smart.
we knew. All right, go to Nordstrom's. Nordstrom has the family room and it's clean. We go up in there.
Yo, that's an app, my brother.
There you
Chill.
go.
Edit
Boom.
that.
That is an app. That's like a Yelp type of thing, or that Yelp will buy it probably.
That's dope.
I'm serious. That's what and it was Nordstrom that had the best bathroom and that all of us could go in. Had the family changing room. It was pretty clean most of the time. So, when we go out, we strategically like make sure that we knew that we could be close by if something happened.
Yo, I'm telling you guys, fatherhood's the app. That's part of it right there.
Booyah.
Right?
Booyah.
Yo, but you know what the con is though with the squat for challenge. Now, I think it's a great initiative, but that was my excuse for not having to change the baby. There's no changing table. What I'm gonna do? Now you got to squat. Now I'm almost past this, so I'm good. But
Bro, I'm not doing that squat.
You just have to
Sorry,
line. You just have to line the toilet extra heavy, and hope that the baby's long enough.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't. Especially that it's I have a girl. Like, I'm not going to. If the dudes don't have a changing table in there, at least I don't know. It's just weird, man.
no, you're gonna have to start squatting, bro.
I'm not squatting, man.
I think the worst.
You're so negative, bro.
I think the worst bathroom I went into was a Toys R Us bathroom.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That had dried shit all over the place. It was just, yeah, it was nasty.
It sounds like jail, dude. Try shit on the walls.
Well,
Yeah, I bet
there's no more Toys R Us, I guess. So I don't know, man.
I bet you jail is a lot more clean than fucking Toys R Us shit.
Oh, dude.
Now I pay extra close
not
attention
Dade County.
to bathrooms these days at restaurants and places. It's like, all right, if they got a really clean bathroom, then I feel more trusting in their service and what they
True,
do.
it's a good. That's what I'm trying to say. Like the app, my friends.
Yo, I don't even want to really talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one offline.
If we do,
Whatever. It's not like we're gonna do anything. What are we gonna do? Hire somebody in Bangladesh to help us out with it, and they don't ever do it. What is it?
that sounds like
Sounds
like an
familiar.
app we tried once upon a time.
The code was for iPhone 2.
Yo, oh my god, I don't want to
Anyway.
relive those days.
It's good learning experience.
Yeah, we didn't learn anything.
Yeah.
We learned how to spend money and time.
I have a. I guess I need some advice from you guys, and it's not something that you probably have experienced yet, but I just want to get your take on it. So, my wife and my daughter have been swarming me to try to get my daughter a phone, not a phone, an iPhone like a 6 Plus or one of those big joints. My daughter's 11 years old. I still don't see a realistic reason for why she should have one.
How old is she? You said 9?
11.
Oh,
We got background noise. Hold on.
yeah, it sounded like a plane was about to crash over there.
Yeah, you're in this. Welcome to LA again.
And then you see a propeller right there in the ceiling.
So she's 11, right? She's in middle school, and she has an iPhone. I'm sorry, not an iPhone. She has an iPod, one of the newer ones.
Right.
Maybe like, I don't know, 3-4 years ago. Not like the first.
Right.
bulky
The ones that can actually get like wireless signal and stuff.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Right. So she has one of those, but she complains that the screen is too small. She graduated from grammar school last year, so we got her an iPad. I still didn't think she needed one, but my wife was like, "Oh, for school she could use it." Blah, blah, blah. All right, cool. We got it for her. Now she's got a big ass screen that does pretty much everything an iPhone does, minus the cellular service. And now that's too big. So what like she likes to play basketball, so I got her these like Beats wireless headphones, and she'll use those to like play or whatever, like you see the basketball players do on TV. But she'll connect it to her iPad instead of connecting it to her iPod to listen to music. And I'm like, all right, that don't make no sense, but whatever. That's what she likes to do. So now she's like, I just upgraded my iPhone to one of the new ones that came out, and she's like, so what are you gonna do with your 6 Plus? And I'm like, sell it. And she's like, why don't you just give it to me? I was like, because you don't need a goddamn phone. And I explained to her the rationale that I have, which basically is there's no good reason for you to have a phone today. You have devices that do pretty much everything that you need, so use those. And her and my wife, every few days, throwing little subtle shots, all this stuff. So the other day I got pissed. I was like, yo, nobody's talking about no more phones in this fucking house again.
So when you say she already has the devices that do everything, what does she say? Does she come back and say, yeah, but I actually want to call someone? I mean, is she rallying for it because she actually wants to use the phone?
She wants something more compact?
So she wants something more compact than the iPad, but bigger than the iPod. But she doesn't want to connect it to make phone calls. She's like, no, I don't even want to make phone calls. And I'm like, yo, so what are you doing with your iPad these days? Like, how do you use it? And she's like, I watch YouTube, I watch Netflix, I listen to music. I was like, so how about the schoolwork? No, we don't have anything to do for school on my iPad. So I'm like, all right, bullshit. So basically it's a freaking video game.
But remember, she could say no phone calls and be telling the truth, but there's texting, there's FaceTime,
right.
There's all of that. That's a workaround. Like, lawyer, like, yeah, I'm definitely not doing any phone calls.
Yeah. but she's doing all that now. Like with the current devices, with both of them, actually, she has access to all of that. So which is fine.
I'd give her 3 choices: 1, no phone; 2, a jitterbug; 3, a gizmo. So the jitterbug. Jitterbug is the flip phone for elderly folks that has big numbers. It's small and compact, and you just it just calls out. And then the gizmo is a phone for little kids that it's basically like on the watch. Yeah, you can just store like 3 numbers on it, press the button, and talk for a minute and 15 seconds, and be done with it.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not bugging, right? Like, what you heard, given all the stuff that she's got and what her use cases are,
or tell her she has to give up all the other devices for the one.
So I did. I told her, why don't you sell all the stuff you got and then save up so you can buy your own phone?
Yeah. That's to me, that's the way. That's the path.
Right. So I'm like, nah.
I think my biggest fear with all this, just the stuff, I mean, like, we have an iPad and, we let our son use it every now and then for stuff, just like play games or watch something, but pretty regulated because we don't want, if it was around all the time, he'd be on it. He'd want to be on it all the time. And then, and he has an interest in the phone and messing around with it and all that. But I don't know. You just look at all the kids and their faces are in the phone all the time. And it's like, damn, man. I mean, it's eventually going to happen at some point, but for me, I'd like to prolong it as much as I could, or at least have more control over, the amount of time they're spending on that stuff.
Do you think, because that's something that's been a topic recently in our home, because my girl's like, because when I'm holding the baby, the only way that I can, I also need to do stuff, so work or look through emails and text, and obviously social media crap, which is a part of what I do too. Yeah. So my girl's like, don't do that, because she sees you with the phone, and then she's noticing her reaching. And I mean, I've noticed it. She's reaching now for the phone. But I'm like, what's the way to, come on, we gotta like.
Yeah, I think the way to navigate. I mean, one way to navigate it is to. Look, you're going to be on the phone. You're going to be doing stuff. But I think there's the time. It's like you have to draw that line of like when your child needs your attention, that you're not on the phone, because there's a lot of times where it's easy to like be on the phone doing something and then trying to talk to your kid or tell your kid to do something, but you're not looking at them, and so I think that can probably send a more damaging message than them seeing you on the phone. It's more about how do you interact with them when you are doing stuff. It's like, try to separate it so that, when you're working or doing stuff on your phone, that's what you're doing. And then when you're with your kid, either, you're showing them something or, it's not like they're vying for your attention from between them and the phone,
What if we create an environment that we homeschool her and make just pretend we're living in the 80s?
You could do that too.
And it's VHS tapes,
right.
beepers, and then from the beepers she graduates to the brick phone, and then the flip phone after that, and then we follow the trends of the whole 80s decade, and she comes out of that.
You might actually be able to open a school like that. And you get a lot of people.
when she's 16, we'll let her drive her first VW Bug 6 shift.
Okay, that's idea number 2 that we've just given everyone on the
retro schooling, we call it.
Yeah.
Yo, I can see that doing some numbers.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like for a crash course, like a weekend type of thing, I bet you people would.
Well, no, or imagine this. Imagine you try to
send parents back to school in that environment. So.
Obviously, nothing we tell our kids is cool will eventually be cool to them. But imagine in a perfect world, we are the trendsetters for our kids, and we tell them like all this new stuff, it's whack, it's corny, it's nerds. Like make them a retro kid where that's their style. And everything about what they do, they even get their other friends, and they got a little crew. Instead of like the emo kids, sports kids, it's the retro kids, and they're all like with skateboards, beepers, and rocking like "I love the '80s" T-shirts or whatever.
Actually, if you go to any festival these days, that's what you'll see.
It's true.
Those are millennials.
Yeah.
Or the
Yeah,
they screaming on that retro shit.
Those are hipsters.
Hey, Manny. So what is? So your wife is on board with your daughter having. Why is she saying that it's good to have for your daughter to have the phone? What's her reasoning for it?
That's what's killing me. Like, yo, my wife is super logical and has great rationale for everything. When I ask her like, what's the MO here? She's like, no, because she needs a bigger screen. And I'm like, yo, am I living in the Twilight Zone? She's got a fucking iPad, bro.
That's a big screen, right?
Like, yo,
mobile version of the bigger screen.
And that's where I'm like, yo, you see, these are the moments where I want to snatch her up out of Camelot where we live, take her back to the Bronx where I'm from, drop her off with her device in her hand, see how long she lasts in the lion's den. Like, I know. We can't.
The other way of doing that, does your wife have family in Cuba?
Yeah. Well, maybe. We're not sure.
Go to Cuba. Watch how those devices work in Cuba. They don't.
Actually, that's a great. I've been pushing her, my wife, to let get up and go over there. But that would be dope before shit just changes over there.
Yeah, they only have Wi-Fi hotspots you got to go to. Like you'll see like a bunch of people in a park, and even then it's like dial-up speed. So really, most of the time you're anywhere, the devices are practically useless, only for taking pictures, and that's it. And then on top of that, you're seeing the realities of a country like that. It'll humble her and make her, at least I would think, be grateful for everything she has back home.
So what do you think she wants to do with the phone? Just the same shit she's doing with everything else, just be able to put it in her pocket and walk with it?
Yo, just be able to stunt. Take it just because all her friends in school.
Yeah, that's
right. It is. Yeah.
And that's what it is. Even if she doesn't connect it, she just wants to be able to show. She's not really like the flashy type, but if her friends pull it out and they're playing like, I don't know, Fortnite or some shit, she could show like, oh, I got it too, and keep it moving out.
Damn, man, that's such a hard thing to deal with.
I think the compromise is her selling or her getting rid of the other stuff for the one thing. She just needs to decide what's the more important device for her.
Yeah, that's a good compromise.
I mean, I think that's the way to go, man. It's that's thought, and then she has to make a decision on what she wants, and you make your bed and then you sleep in it.
I mean, would you not want her to have a phone, period, just to not be able to do any of the stuff on it, or?
Nah, I'm not.
You don't really care. You're not tripping on that.
I'm not tripping on her having a phone. Like, I'm not this Nazi that's like, no, you can't have a phone. It's more like, if you're gonna have a phone, it should be connected, which means there's a plan you got to pay for consistently. Like for me, it's more about, all right, you want it, you got to be able to find a way to support having it. because it's like a luxury, right?
Right.
So to me, it's like, I mean, she's 11, so you can't really expect her to be working, but I have her like assisting me on the other podcast that I'm doing. So like that's kind of her job, and she's earning money from that. But that's not going to be enough to cover, some of these things. So like it's more about her knowing the work that it takes to support something like that as a luxury versus me just saying, nah, I don't want her to have a phone. Like, I don't care.
Now, how much?
Wait, you're doing another podcast? You moonlighter. Sorry, true.
Now, how much freedom? So let's say that she sells everything and has the phone. How much freedom are you going to give her on that phone? And even with the iPad and everything she has now, I mean, do you guys go in and look at everything that's on the iPad? Do you putting controls on it? Or are you going to be investigating what's happening?
We would definitely be limiting certain things. My wife is Inspector Gadget. Okay. She's all over all of her devices just to make sure everything is cool. I mean, and we don't do a ton of like research on what security and kind of spyware there is out there for parents to like keep tabs on stuff. But Apple just has some like out of the box stuff that's pretty good. Yeah,
but your wife is going in and like reading text messages and all that stuff is basically your daughter knows that there's nothing off limit. It's all. It's all.
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah. Okay.
No, we don't play those games.
Yeah.
And she knows it's not like it's a secret. Like my wife she'll do it when she's not around, but she knows that my wife was in there. It wasn't like we're trying to be sneaky or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Not that you need to be. It's either
right.
You want this device. Understand that there's no privacy.
There's no and you don't have no tax bill.
Right.
You ain't got no mortgage. So whatever goes down in this house, this is how it goes.
Yeah.
We're just boom, son.
Makes sense.
I mean, does your son you're not dealing with anything at that level yet?
Nah, luckily not. No.
Not even video games or anything like that? My godson's heavy on the he's like, download this app. It's free. It's free.
Yeah, every now and then, like actually, we were on a trip this past weekend. So we were upstate New York for my mother-in-law's memorial service, and so my son's cousins were around, and one of the cousins is 12, and she had a friend with her, and they were playing this game called Color Switch. I don't know, Manny, you might be familiar with this one.
Yeah.
So my son
Manny color switches all the time.
my son saw them playing it, and then of course it's, we gotta download that. We gotta I gotta play it, and so now it's he'll see something like Angry Birds, for example, when we started flying quite a bit, and he started realizing what was on the TV screens in the airplane. He got heavy on wanting to do Angry Birds, and then again, so it's like he doesn't have free reign on the iPad or the phones. It's basically, we let him when we feel it's okay. I think earlier on when he was younger, we let him have a little bit more access to the to the iPad to play games and stuff, but then noticed that his focus wasn't quite as good because he'd start playing something on the iPad and then he'd turn it off, switch to something. You just kept switching, bouncing around to everything, and and that's just like a nice early sign of just short attention span. So we cut that out. We took that away, and then we put it away for about a year. And I was like, nah. And he's like, how come I can never see this iPad again? I said, oh, once you learn how to focus properly, then So
you're good. My 2-year-old, that's exactly what she does. And I mean, I feel terrible, but it's come to a point where we're just like, yo, we don't know how to remove it from her. Like, train her to do something different, because it becomes the babysitter, for better or worse. That's what it ends up being. And it's luckily the programming that she watches is mostly YouTube Kids, and they actually have good stuff that she learns a ton from. But screen time with her, it's up there. So what happens is it loses charge relatively quickly, and so it'll give us like a 4-hour gap that we could like do other things and try to get her attention into something else.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not so mad at. I mean, the whole idea of screen time. I mean, we talked a little bit about this before. I mean, I'm not so mad at the idea of screen time. It's like paying attention to how it affects or if it affects your kids at all. Like, so for my son, we started noticing that his attention span was getting shorter, and the way that he was interacting with the iPad was, flying all over the place, and so that made us put the brakes on it. Like, all right, we don't want him being, taking this approach to flying all over the place to everything else. If you can't sit and like finish a book or that kind of stuff, then we got a problem. So,
speaking of books, do you guys read to your kids? Well, your son's probably doing some of that on his own, right?
Yeah, we more so my wife started over the summer with teaching him how to read. So he's been, once he kind of broke through. What was that?
Yo, E,
did you wake the baby?
Child,
did you wake the baby?
Yo, you gotta say excuse me for that kind of shit, bro.
Come here. What? You jealous?
Oh, that's the dog. I thought you woke the baby.
Yeah. Nah, I thought he ate some enchiladas or something.
Yeah, so he's starting to read now. Like he can read Green Eggs and Ham, that whole book by himself, and he's like looking at signs when we're driving around and trying to figure. So he's basically, his mind is in the mode of figuring out words and learning how to read and everything. But we read since he was a baby consistently to him every night, almost every night, just to.
Yo, you guys are textbone, bro. You guys are real
keep
good.
Knocking it. Yeah, we just like
shame, man.
Nah, I mean we just like reading. So I mean, for me growing up, reading that was a big escape for me. Just
I was never a reader.
I was into books and comic books, so that was like putting on, like going to a record store, getting some music, go to comic book, get a couple comic books, and put music, some music on and read comics or read a book. That was basically my big escape growing up.
That's dope.
Better than me.
So if he can follow suit, maybe he'll stay out of some trouble.
Right.
At least early on.
I want to get my son into comic books. Like, so I've been listening to our homies, Felipe's Garage.
Okay.
And they always talking about comics and all of that. And like I never experienced it. Like I never grew up reading comics or whatnot. But yo, it's a dope
No, it's dope.
vibe.
I was into it, but I didn't really read them like that.
You looked at the pictures?
Yeah, straight up.
All right.
And I mean, it was enough reading that it wasn't that much bad.
Right.
Like I'm saying, it was minimal reading anyways. But yeah, I was into that phase where it was mostly about like it was like, oh, you could hustle these probably in the future.
So it was some investment.
Hey, it paid rent one day. I had to sell my whole collection to make rent one time. Yeah.
Oh shit!
I got some in my office up here too, like framed, the ones that are my favorites.
Do you read? Do you and your wife read to your kids, Manny?
My wife does. I can't say that I do a ton, but that's been something like 20 minutes every night or so. And he's been, so like we were at the mall the other day, and a lot of that is sticking. So like he craves it because it's like she's reading to him like some book that tells you the genesis of like the Marvel superheroes.
Okay.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, and so he's really intrigued by it. He's like, "Wow, we got to find out what happened with the Hulk's son or whatever." And I'm like, "Yo, Hulk got a son? What are we talking about?"
Damn, Hulk's banging like that?
Hulk smash.
You don't remember She-Hulk?
She-Hulk.
There was a She-Hulk?
Yeah.
Come on, dog.
Damn, that's
So
bumping uglies to another level.
So we're at the mall, and he's like, he looks at the Old Navy, logos kids gravitate toward real quick, and commercials give everything away. But he's reading, but you could tell that he's actually trying to read it versus going off of memory whatever the commercial said. So he's like, old, and then I'm like, what does that say? And he's like, old. He's like, but because I'm trying to get him into the habit of like, stop being lazy, because he'll look at the first letter,
Right, try to spell it out.
Try to guess.
Yeah.
He'll say, it'll be Old Navy, but he'll be like, Osh. And I'm like, come on, son. You know there's
Right.
no sh anywhere in that word. But this weekend, it was like a click occurred, and we were going to the mall, and he would be, you know, two like 3 to 5 letter words he was able to like get. And I was like, every chance he got, he'd be like, yo, Dad, that's da-da-da, that's da-da-da. And I'm like, shit, yo, you killing it. And so I kept, giving him little shit here and there so he can encourage him to continue. But that's been dope. I like the whole, like, how everywhere that he is, he's picking something up that is contributing toward his interest in reading.
Yeah, he's ready to he's ready to unlock that for himself.
Yeah. I'm waiting for my awakening so that I can actually read.
E, do you guys read to your baby?
We have like those real super toddler books that are more about like the noises it'll make when you touch it.
Right.
But it has like, a sentence like the bird likes to purr,
Right.
Like stuff like that. And
The bird likes to twerk, you said?
That's what I heard.
my girl definitely reads that, often. I mean, I would like to say that I will be reading to my daughter, but I'm not that dude with books. But I mean, I'm obviously going to make an effort so that she's a lot more book smart than I am.
The books really, for us, it's also a nighttime thing. I mean, we'll read to him during the day too.
Right,
He
it
wants
helps
to
him
hear a
go to
bite,
sleep.
but yeah, definitely.
Okay, shut the front door, bro.
He will definitely fall asleep faster if we read to him.
Is that because it's boring or because it's soothing?
I think soothing.
Yeah. Because we get a little bit of both, depending on what
Yeah.
the book is. He'll just be like, yo, this shit is whack.
Although if he's overtired, then we'll find a book that we've read to him over and over again that we know he's bored of, and then because sometimes if we get him a book or it's like a new book or a book that he picked out, it's almost too interesting, and he wants to stay up to try to listen to it, and then it's
cool.
and then it's backfiring on us. I mean, it's great that he's interested in it, but we're trying to get to sleep. That's a different story.
Dope. Oh, yo, check this out. I just got a Groupon package that I think you guys would appreciate. And if you guys have something like this, you guys can kiss my ass. Okay? You ever seen this joint?
Well,
Wallet Ninja?
Wallet
it's called
Ninja.
the Wallet
What is
Ninja.
that?
So it looks like a credit card, and it's a bottle opener, ruler, eyeglass, screwdriver, fucking cell phone stand. I mean, it's got everything you can possibly want.
What late night infomercial?
Yeah, so shout out to Groupon.
TSA is going to arrest you if you walk through the airport with that.
Yo, I don't know. I'm a certified ninja with this thing. They might not want to fuck around. But yeah, I'm digging this. This shit's gonna save my life. I can open a beer bottle now with no problem.
Well, if you're my boy Sonny BET, he does it with his teeth.
Ooh.
Yeah, I saw that. Nah, son.
Yeah, well,
I think we're powering down, guys. I
Yeah.
think this is probably a
Yeah,
good
no,
one.
there was. Oh, I mean, how can I forget this? But today is my daughter's
It's month?
5-month anniversary. What do you say? 5 month old.
5 months.
5-month birthday.
5 month, yeah, 5 month-ery.
5 months in the 5 months in the life.
So what'd you guys
In the
what'd you guys get her?
I made myself a pizza.
an iPhone.
Yeah, I got myself a new iPhone that she could use in 10 years.
That's dope, man. That's dope.
Congrats,
Damn,
man.
before you know it, she's a year old, bro. You guys still got to start planning that. That's got to be a big deal.
What, the birthday?
Yeah.
I mean, like a party?
I mean, I don't know, some sort of
She won't
celebration.
remember that first year. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't go crazy.
What did you guys do before we get out of here? I just want to know, what'd you do for the first year? Birthday.
We had a low key birthday. I mean, we had a birthday party with some family and friends. It wasn't anything. I think it was more so for us to hang out with some people, but it wasn't like off the charts. Like a kid's birthday party. 'Cause,
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty low key.
So for my kids, it's been low key, but for the oldest, she had like I mean, it was a fucking. She had ponies
For the first year.
Yeah, for
Oh,
her
wow.
first year.
You had a pony for a 1-year-old?
I wasn't there for my 11-year-old.
Okay.
That was before my time, but she had like it was a big deal.
Does she remember? She doesn't remember that, does she?
Nah. which is why I'm like, but so parents do that shit like for their first kid specifically. Sometimes it's like they feel like they got to go balls to the wall.
Nah, I definitely want to go balls to the wall when I know my daughter's gonna remember and appreciate it.
Yeah, I think we went to a family's house and they cooked some food. We invited some other family and friends over. It was a small gathering, and people just hung out and had a good time. No magicians or ponies or any of that kind of stuff. At least for number one. Now, as the years progress,
yeah, number 5, 6, 7. Those are the ones.
And then hopefully they start leveling off a little bit. They're fun to do, but it's like, some parents go crazy, and it's like over the top year after year. It's like you set a bar so high that then the next year you have to top it and keep going and everything. I'm like,
I love all these little like bouncy house places and those joints, because you do the birthday there. It's like 2 hours.
Yep.
Get in, get out, done.
Yep.
Those are the greatest.
Yeah, they get their energy out. They do most of the setup.
Thumbs up.
But it's cool. I mean, the one thing I will say is like when they start to kind of remember and know like what their party is or excited about the party, then it's gratifying to see them like happy with it and their friends happy and they're excited by it. The first couple of years they don't really know, at least in my experience, they don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, nah, it's not worth it.
You guys do piñatas, man? I'm a piñata person, man.
Yeah, we do piñatas.
I had piñatas when I was a kid, and my girl, who's from LA, she doesn't see the value in a good piñata at a kid's party.
Yeah, I think we've had a piñata at everyone except for the first year.
I'm lying. Yeah, we did a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle joint. Now that I recall,
I had an ET piñata when I was a kid. That was off the chain.
Damn, you was rolling, kid.
My mom was ill with it. My mom was a good party planner, and she did dope parties that I remember, man. Like, and she would do themes of things that like the movies that I was into at the time, like a Star Wars theme or an ET theme, and then I had like a Star Wars piñata and an ET piñata.
Yeah, we've been doing the themes. The themes,
the string ones, but the string ones are safer, obviously.
Oh, you were bashing shit with a bat.
Yeah, with a big ass stick. Yep. And then you're blindfolded, and they flip you around, and then you hit other people by accident.
Right.
By accident.
I'm always worried that there's going to be the one kid who lets go of the bat or the stick, and it goes flying. Yeah.
That's why the string is probably the safest one. You've done the string one, right?
Nah, it's always been the string holding up the piñata, and they pull the piñata up and down.
The piñatas with the strings?
Nah, we've been doing it with the bats and the sticks.
Oh, they have piñatas, I guess, for the safety reasons.
Oh, really?
It has a bunch of little strings at the bottom of it. All the little kids hold it, and you say 1, 2, 3, and then they pull it, and it breaks open.
Oh, I've never seen that.
And then they all go crazy trying to grab everything that falls. I mean, it's not as fun.
Yeah.
You got the gangster piñatas only over there.
Yo, I'm so into piñatas. I mean, I have it still. My girl bought me a Who's Crazy piñata, like a big piñata Who's Crazy, and I have it in the garage. We didn't use it. I might use it for our 25th anniversary party before the year is up.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Just fill it up with
liquor bottle.
Or for your daughter's first year party, you can say you did something big. Piñata.
I'll still fill it with little liquor bottles.
Oh.
Yeah, kid.
All right, listen, guys. I'd love to stick around, but the Yankees are playing right now in a very big game.
You gotta do dribbles and nibbles, right?
No, that's tomorrow.
Plug the podcast, Manny.
Yeah, so I'm doing this New York basketball podcast.
Yo, yeah, check it
Hey,
out.
yo, Shaq. Hey, yo, Shaq. Yo, Shaq. Nah, it's a podcast exploring the culture of New York basketball. It's called Dribble and Dimes. I do it with my brother, who's also the co-host there. His name is Emilio, the poet. And we just talk to a bunch of different folks in and around the game of basketball to really just understand all the stories and the cool shit that goes down that creates this, authentic brand of New York area basketball.
And your daughter's a producer, like you mentioned.
No, she's my assistant.
She's a producer. She can be a producer.
Okay,
She can be an AP.
Yeah. She's gonna love it when I tell her that. Be like, yo, they called you a producer on the podcast.
AP's assistant producer.
Yep.
She's gonna love it. But yeah, so yeah, we having fun, man. Having fun.
All right, no doubt.
No doubt, son. No doubt.
You got anything to plug, Kay?
Nope.
Oh, my ribs just.
Oh man. Or
Yo, wait.
Batman cramp.
Kay doesn't want nobody to see his face. So you really gonna plug anything?
He should have thrown the scent off and be like, yeah, I got this new podcast called, Beans and Lettuce.
Beans and
Lettuce. Oh, jeez.
It's about being a farmer in rural America.
exploring the way grains are processed.
Organic, son. OG is called OG, organic, son.
No, I actually don't. The whole showing face. I mean, for me, I'm just on some private shit. That's why I don't have any social media, any of that kind of stuff. That's why. Remember, we were talking about this before. Why I did not do the Runs House originally.
Right. Oh, you gonna bring that up now?
Real quick, might as well. So I had a label back in the day, and we did a partnership with Rev Run during Run's House.
Woo!
So that kind of it's a nice way to attach the whole fatherhoods thing. So again, Rev Run was. So he's someone that, right? He did a lot in terms of changing the narrative and making family cool for as far as rappers go and everything. So that was a cool experience. But yeah, I did not. That's why I decided to stop rapping and do producing instead, because I did not like to be front and center. I like to play the background.
Even now, you notice on our Skype, he's only showing like half of his face.
Half his face.
Like,
no, I'm not.
Dude, like in case we.
What are you talking about? I got the full.
Nah,
you just got the left side of your face popping.
Yeah. I'm wearing a paper bag over my head for the whole time.
Yeah, it says KGB, Shan.
Yo, that's the move. If we're ever caught somewhere, okay, this is dreaming here, but we blow up. Fatherhood is this big thing. If we're somewhere on location somewhere, you got to wear a bag with the damn eyes cut out.
I'll be the dude from the Saint Lunatics, who's the guy who used to wear the mask.
You'd be like our Ghostface Killer.
Yeah.
Before he showed his face.
Right.
But with no charges.
Right.
No criminal charges.
No, yeah.
So they say.
Allegedly, bro. Allegedly.
So all right. I got nothing to plug. Holler.
How about you, E? Any plugs? Before?
Hold on, I'm about to have a cough attack. I'm back.
He's plugging the mute button.
What? Nothing to plug now, man. Catch me on Drink Champs. Check out. I mean, I actually have a laundry list of things to plug, so I won't even go there.
So that could be its own episode.
Yeah.
Check out Organic Farming, episode 5.
Yeah. Colombian White, son. Check that out. Don't give it to your children.
Oh, man.
Right. I'm coming out with a new podcast called Puppyhood.
Yeah. When dogs sound like babies. Puppyhood.
That sounded like farts. That's what it sounded like to me.
All right. Yeah. Now we're digressing. All right, let's get the hell out of here.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Later.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the bell.